Today, May the 16th of 2025, the first day of a 10-day Vipassana meditation retreat in ISMC Pakam. First of all, I would like to express a warm welcome to everyone who is here participating in this meditation retreat. I'm very glad to see yogis coming here to join the retreat and happy to see they have the opportunity to join this retreat because it is not easy for many people to have this opportunity to practice Satipatthana meditation. So meditators who are here, you are here with the objective. Maybe they have different objectives. Some are here to get the stress off their mind. Some looking for peace of mind. Some looking for the opportunity to practice in order to attain higher knowledges of path knowledge, fruition knowledge, to attain Nibbana. So you know what you are here for. In Mahasatipatthana Sutta, Buddha boldly assured, guaranteed the 7 benefits of Satipatthana meditation practice. Ekayano ayam bhikkhave maggo sattana visuddhiya soka pridevana samatikamaya dukkha domanasana attangamaya nyayasa adhikamaya nibbanasa satchikaranataya. So these 7 benefits of practicing Satipatthana meditation, of purifying the mind, overcoming sorrow and lamentation, getting rid of physical pain, mental distress, attaining path knowledge, realizing Nibbana. So these 7 benefits are assured, guaranteed, boldly by the Buddha. So this Satipatthana practice is not something small, but it is very valuable and precious. It can bring enormous benefits. So in the Pali, Ekayano ayam bhikkhave, bhikkhave means bhikkhu, calling bhikkhu. In translations, some simply translate as monks, but actually bhikkhus, not only monks, but in the Satipatthana practice, whoever practices can be called a bhikkhu. So in commentary, it is said that Satipannako hi avawa hotu manusowa bhikkhuti sankhyan gacchati yewa, meaning that whoever practices, whether a celestial being, whether a human being, whoever practices is called a bhikkhu. Bhikkhu is a person who sees danger, who sees flaws of continuous arising of the nama rupa. So in this way, a person who sees the danger, old age, disease, death, and so on, in this samsara round of existences, is called a bhikkhu. But just seeing it as danger, just seeing the flaws of samsara alone, one cannot escape from this samsara round of existences, the sufferings. In order to escape from this samsara round of existences, in order to be a true bhikkhu, one must practice sila practice, the morality training. Yogis have just now taken the 8 precepts, that involves refraining from wrongdoing by bodily behavior, verbal behavior. So in this way, keeping the precepts, practicing the morality training, keeping one's body and speech proper through this practice, one can be called a sila bhikkhu. So in this way, by practicing sila morality, one removes gross defilements, transgressive defilements that arises in the body and speech. So these gross defilements are removed momentarily through the practice of sila. So it is also according to another definition of bhikkhu. Kilese bindaditi bhikkhu, meaning bhikkhu is the one who destroys defilement. So yogis, having taken the precept, keeping the body behavior and verbal behavior pure and clean through morality practice, yogi is removing, destroying videkama kilesa, transgressive defilements, gross defilements are being removed by this practice of sila. So in this way, practice of sila, one is a sila bhikkhu. And also according to another definition, destroying gross defilements. Practicing sila, morality alone is not enough to destroy the defilements, kilesa. Through the morality practice, only the gross defilements are removed momentarily. But the defilements that arise in the mind cannot be removed through the practice of sila. So in order to remove the defilements that can arise in the mind, priyuttana kilesa, obsessive defilements, in order to remove them, one needs to practice samadhi practice. When it is said samadhi practice, not only the samadhi, one should cultivate viriya, sati, and samadhi, effort, mindfulness, concentrations. These 3 factors, which make up samadhi kanda, concentration group, it has to be practiced. So as a yogi here in the meditation retreat, in this intensive meditation retreats, yogis are asked to be mindful from the moment they wake up all day through until they fall asleep at night. So within the 24 hours, apart from the hours of fast asleep, the remaining time when they are awake, from the moment they awake until they fall asleep at night, throughout the day, yogis should be mindful all day through, moment to moment. one after another. In order to be able to note continuously, there should be viriya. One must make the effort in order to be able to note whatever object is arising at the present moment. The practice consists of three parts: sitting meditation, walking meditation, and the daily activities. So, as in the Vipassana saying, Yatha Bhagata Vipassana Biniveso, one should be mindful of the object that is most obvious. So, in the sitting meditation, the object that is most obvious, the primary object, rising and falling of the abdomen. So, in the sitting meditation, yogi breathes normally, not hastening the breath, not making it slow, not making it fast. Do not deliberately make deep breaths. Just keep the breathing normal and be mindful, the focus of attention on the abdomen. And when the abdomen rises, be mindful from the very start of rising all the way until rising finishes. When the abdomen falls, be mindful from the very moment the abdomen starts to fall all the way through until falling finishes. In this way, focusing the mind on the abdomen, making a soft mental note, rising, falling, concurrent with the actual rising and falling of the abdomen. Keeping the body straight, breathing normally, focusing the mind on the abdomen, rising, falling. If rising, falling is not clear, you can put your hand on the abdomen and note rising, falling. For some yogis who have been practicing other methods before, if they have problem noticing rising, falling, they can note sitting, touching as the primary object. Sitting, the legs crossed, the upper body upright, keeping the mind on the whole body as a whole sitting, noting it as sitting. Touching, mindful of the touching of the buttock and the cushion, touching as touching. Sitting, whole body sitting as hitting, the two hands touching as touching. So in this way, for yogis who get mixed up if they have tried other methods and if they get mixed up with the nostrils and the rising falling, they can note sitting, touching as the primary object. In this way, while noting rising, falling, or sitting, touching as the primary object, at times when the mind wanders away, as soon as the mind wanders, note it as wandering, wandering. If the mind goes to thinking, note it thinking, thinking. Usually, the thinking stops after noting it thinking, thinking 2 or 3 times. After the thinking stops, go back to the primary object, rising, falling, or sitting, touching. Do not let yourself be carried away by thoughts. If you can note thinking, thinking, right away, then it is Cittanupassana. But on the other hand, if you fail to note it as thinking, if you get carried away, if pleasant thoughts are arising, greed can arise. If there are thoughts about unpleasant experiences, being carried away by these thoughts of these unpleasant experiences, there can be anger, aversion. In order not to let it happen, as soon as the thought arises, note it as thinking. After yogi is sitting after a while, pain, unpleasant sensations can arise in some part of the body. If pain arises and if pain becomes obvious, pain is also an object to be noted. Focus the mind where the pain is, note it as pain. Note it with patience and forbearance. Noting pain, we note the pain not to get rid of it, but we note the pain so that we understand what it is. So when noting pain, note in such a way so that you come to understand what it is, what nature it is, and what happened to it when you note it. Note it with patience and forbearance. And while noting rising, falling, or sitting, touching, at times one might see mental images. When seeing mental images, do not be looking what it is or what it is about. Do not be carried away by these mental images. Seeing is just seeing. So when you see mental images, just note it as seeing. Usually, after noting seeing for a few times, it goes away, then come back to either rising, falling, or sitting, touching. The same with the hearing. Sometimes, if you hear mental sounds, note it, hearing a few times. Usually, they stop after a while, come back to the primary object. And also, there are sounds in the surrounding. Do not be deliberately listening. If you find yourself listening, note it right away, listening, but do not deliberately listen. If your mind gets caught by something you hear, if your attention goes to the noise, if it draws your attention, note it as hearing a few times, and then go back to either rising, falling, or sitting, touching. During the sitting meditation, at times sleepiness arises. When you feel sleepy, note it as sleepy. If you find that your body is swaying, note it as swaying. After it disappears, come back to rising, falling, or sitting, touching. If emotions like greed arises, note it as greed. If anger arises, note it as anger. If impatience arises, note it as impatient, and so on. So in this way, in the sitting meditation, one knows the primary object, Kayanupassana, as well as when thoughts, planning, thinking arises, noting them, Cittanupassana. Vedananupassana, when pain arises, noting pain, or when mental feeling arises, such as sadness, happiness, note them, it is Vedananupassana. And Dhammanupassana, noting mental images, seeing, mental hearing as hearing, as well as other objects such as greed, anger, impatience, noting them are Dhammanupassana. So in this way, one notes whatever object that is obvious at the present moment. And walking meditation is also important part of the practice. Walking meditation generates effort. Doing walking meditation also helps to balance the effort and concentration. In order to balance samadhi, in order to balance viriya and samadhi, in order to balance effort and concentration, one needs to do alternate periods of sitting and walking meditation. Walking meditation, doing walking meditation before the sitting helps the practice, helps the sitting meditation better. Doing sitting meditation without walking meditation, our strategy say doing sitting meditation without prior walking meditation, it's like trying to start the engine of the car which has a rundown battery. So in the practice, in order to keep the engine going, in order to keep the battery energized, it is important to do a good walking meditation. In the walking meditation, it is important to keep the eyes down. Keeping the eyes down, looking only about 6 feet ahead of where you are going, not paying attention to what you see, and keeping the focus of attention on the foot that is making the step. If you are going from one place to another, such as from Dhamma hall to your room, from your room to the dining hall, keeping the eyes down and keeping focus of your attention on the foot, noting as right, left, right, left. Also, keep your hands collected in the front or at the back. Do not be dangling your hand at the side, because if you dangle the hand at the side, when the hand strays, the attention goes to it, so the mind is no longer on the foot. So in order to avoid it, always keep the hand collected at the front or at the back while you are walking, and keep the eyes down. In the formal walking meditation, for the first part of the walking, it is a one-step walking, keeping the eyes down, focusing the mind on the foot, walking not too quick, not very slow, not quick, noting one step, noting right, left, right, left. When you walk to and fro, right, left, when you come to the end of the walking space, while you stand, be sure to note it as standing, standing, keeping the awareness on the whole body standing, noting it as standing, standing, standing. When you want to turn, note this intention as wanting to turn, wanting to turn, wanting to turn. And when you turn your body, It is the whole body that is turning. So keep the awareness on the whole body as the whole turning. Note it as turning, turning, turning. And walk again, right, left, right, left. After you have been doing one step walking in the walking meditation, right, left, after some time, the mind calms down. Do a slower walking, a two-step walking, noting, lifting, and placing of the foot. Be mindful from the very moment the foot is lifted all the way until lifting finishes. And when noting placing of the foot, placing is not just on the ground, but when you note placing, be mindful from the very moment the foot is released, lowered all the way until it touches and presses on the ground. That whole step is placing. After the mind calms down, after noting two-step walking, you can go on to the three-step lifting, moving, and placing of the foot. So be sure that only after you have fully placed the foot, then you lift the other. So in this way, whether you are doing sitting meditation, walking meditation, or daily activities, in order to be able to note the object, you need to make effort so that the mind is pushed towards the object. And this involves viriya, effort, pushing the mind towards the object. When the mind sticks onto the object, it is mindfulness, sati. The noting mind falls calm, collected on the object, it is samadhi. So in this way, making the effort to note every object that arises, moment to moment, one after another, second after second. Making this effort, the mind sticks to the object that has been noted. The mind fall calm, collected on the object that has been noted. So at that very moment, having viriya, sati, and samadhi present, at that very moment, defilement has no chance to arise. Every time the mind stays on the object, fall calm, collected on the object. So at that very moment, as the defilement kilesa not arising, the mind is pure and clean. That is purification of the mind. You get immediate benefit. So purification of the mind, this benefit, you get it immediately. The very moment you are able to apply viriya, sati, and samadhi in the noting. In this way, yogi can be called samadhi bhikkhu. So time is up. We will continue the Dhamma talk tomorrow. But for today, we stop here for today. So may all the yogis be able to practice smoothly so that may they be able to cultivate viriya, sati, samadhi, and panya so that they get the benefits of Satipatthana meditation practice immediately at the very moment of being mindful. This will be all for today.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.